now we spoke to Jairam Ramesh and Pawan Khera, and they're right here with us. Let me tell our viewers that the Congress is planning to complain to the Election Commission. The complaint is being readied, and Pawan Khera is right here. And the question really prevails is that they can slow down the results, but still they won't be able to change the results. So what are you alleging?
They are trying to put pressure on the district administration, local administration by showing outdated trends, 4th, 5th round, whereas 11, 12 rounds have already been counted. So they are just trying to play a mind game with our workers, with our counting agents, and also with the local administration.
Now you're saying that there are almost 8 to 10 seats. Which are those seats you are saying that have not been updated?
Example of Vinesh Phogat. We had to point out in all our spokespersons then had to amplify that she's already leading by 5,000, 4,000 some votes. But on all channels, they were showing outdated trends that she's trailing. So this is just one seat. There are 8, 9 such seats where 12 rounds have already taken place. But ECI website is showing 5th or 6th round, and channels and reporters are depending only on the ECI website. Their own ground reporters are not also showing the 11th, 12th round.
Jairam sir, just wanted to ask you, what is the message?
All of them.
What is the, Pawan sir, what is the message that you're trying to give to your state units? And also, what is the complaint that you're going to take to the ECI? Who's going?
The complaint is already reached the ECI, asking them to update as per the latest rounds that have taken place, whether 11th or 12th. The message to our counting agents is very clear. Please do not leave your post. Count all the machines. Don't get disappointed, don't get dejected. These are mind games being played by the BJP. We should not be a victim to that.
The Congress levelling this serious charge that the ECI is delaying the uploading of the current trends. I want to get a counter now from Amit Malviya, the IT cell chief of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We've got Supriya Sharnaith live, Mr. Malviya. She, Jairam Ramesh, Pawan Khera alleging a big conspiracy that the Election Commission is slowing down the uploading of data on the website. How do you respond to this charge? Amit Malviya.
Rahul, let's discuss something more substantive and meaningful. The Congress has this habit of crying every time they lose. Earlier they would blame the EVM, now they're blaming the website. Why don't they look at their own rank and file, the factionalism, Rahul Gandhi's statement, hum arakshan hata denge, that is what has done them in. And the truth is that they must be graceful and accept that the people of Haryana have voted for a third historic time for the Bharatiya Janata Party on the back of the good work that the government has done while in power. The Congress has to accept that they are not the default option in the country anymore. The Overton window, as far as political discourse and people's political choices is concerned, has moved decisively post-2014. While I understand that in democracy, ebb and flow is par for the course, but the truth is today that the BJP is the party to beat. Prime Minister Modi is the tallest leader in the country. There is immense trust and faith that people have in him, and that's what reflects in the mandate. And I must point out, since I'm on your channel, I was watching your exit polls very keenly. I saw the kind of premature obituaries your anchor and your panelists were writing for the BJP. They almost predicted that we are going to lose all elections till Bihar. You know, my advice to all these people is, you have been hoping for a disastrous run for our leadership, for our party, for the last several decades. If you stop imputing motives and stop professing what you wish and report what the people are saying, you probably will be more credible.
So what changed according to you, Amit Malviya? What changed? What did the pollsters, what did the pundits get wrong?
Well, first of all, the pollsters and pundits don't want to see what the people are saying. They report, they argue, they debate, they prophesize, they project what they wish the results to be. I put out a tweet on 29 September saying anybody who went to Haryana has come back saying that the Congress won't win more than 37 seats because of the kind of social engineering in the state, the kind of work that the government did. For example, there is 22.5% Dalit population in the state. of which about 14% is the DSC, the deprived scheduled caste. The deprived scheduled caste community, rallies after rallies, programs after programs, was pledging their support for the BJP. They constitute 14% of the state. Of the rest 8.5%, they voted for pretty much every party. The Dalits haven't forgotten the kind of regime that Bhupinder Hooda led while in power. They did not forget that Rahul Gandhi went to America and said कि हम आरक्षण हटा देंगे. So all these things did them in. Secondly, you did not look at the polling percentage. The BJP election increased its vote share. Not just that, Haryana as a state polled 3.1% more than the Lok Sabha. It was pretty much the same as it did in 2019 Assembly election. Nobody factored in that 3%, 3.1% increase. Who did they vote for? And lastly, after 10 years of stable governance of a government that would treat everybody equally, give jobs to youths, treat the Dalits properly, empower them, nobody factored that in. Because everybody thought Congress is winning, Congress is winning.
But Mr. Malviya, on the contrary, with the figures that you're giving in, the Congress is actually doing better in the Dalit belt, and on the contrary, the BJP is actually doing better where the Jat belt is concerned.
You know, again, if you look at these trends, you have to see why it is the case, why they are winning and losing. A seat, whether we are trailing, who has voted which side. That is the crux. The problem is we all look at broad trends and make assumptions. You have to look at the underlying movement that is happening. If the BJP is doing well in Jat areas, as you are saying, it's probably because of the equations, because some faction or some social bloc has voted the other way. It's far more complex than just throwing off the numbers and, you know, saying or interpreting it one way or the other.
Supriya, do you concede that the Congress probably got overconfident and had factored in a probable victory, that you weren't willing to concede that there's a real prospect of the BJP coming back to power, which is why past noon the scoreline reads the BJP comfortably in position to form the next government, whereas the Congress is left wondering what went wrong in Haryana?
We'll talk again at 1:30. And all that has been said by the BJP spokesperson without a single intervention from any of you will be eating a humble pie. And I will tell you why. The numbers that are being discussed, all our discussion so far is based on round 4 of election counting. We are still not discussing round 11 or 12 that has happened. And the picture is fast turning there.
No, ma'am, I've checked that. Ma'am, just a minute. Ma'am, just a minute. I've checked that. Ma'am, I'll let you speak. No, but you must let me.
Will you let me
I need to correct you. We've checked. These are based on about 10 rounds done.
No.
Let us speak.
Okay.
Go on, make your point, ma'am.
This is not how it's going to be. I barely speak for 30 seconds and all three of you come down on me. Please let me speak for 5 minutes. Like you allowed to be. Give me 2.5 minutes because that's all that you will concede. Let me
okay,
put the session to you.
Go ahead.
अरे आपका काम बाकी दोनों ने कर दिया. चलिए, anyways. This picture is going to change by 1:30. Mark my words. The second thing I want to say is, we are almost saying that J&K didn't happen. I mean, so much has been said about BJP and the great work that they've done. What went wrong in J&K? Why has J&K squarely rejected you and squarely rejected you? Vehemently because you went to town tom-tomming what you've done for Jammu and Kashmir. Why have they rejected you? What's gone wrong there? Mr. Modi has been rejected there. Mr. Modi has been rejected in Haryana. But you're not going to concede on those terms. You kept
why
saying
do you say
there
the
was
BJP
peace
has
in
been
the valley.
rejected in
The
Jammu and
reality is
Kashmir?
27
There are
terror strikes
29
in the last
seats.
100 days.
There are 29 seats. How do you say they've been rejected in Jammu and Kashmir?
But they have been rejected and we are at 51.
No,
And
we
we
are
are
at only 10.
You're with the national conference, but Amit Malviya respond to that, because there was also a lot invested in Jammu and Kashmir, and the fact is the BJP has been blanked out in the valley. The fact is the independent strategy doesn't seem to have worked to the same extent in Jammu and Kashmir. Independents who could be supported by the BJP. Article 370 out, but the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and particularly Kashmir Valley, have stood with the NC Congress. So While you have every right to claim a major victory in Haryana, the opposition will claim a major victory in J&K.
Okay, so let's look at the J&K numbers. The National Conference Alliance, which is National Conference and the Congress put together, are leading in about 50 seats. Let me ask you a question. How many of these seats is actually the Congress? They are probably 9 seats right now in single digit. So it's a National Conference performance that the Congress is leaning on. Therefore, my question is that under Rahul Gandhi's leadership, they are trailing in 8 out of 12 seats where he held the Yatra in Haryana, and in J&K they are just about ahead on 9 seats. So when you say NC plus, let's break it up. Let's look at how many NC seats, how many Congress seats. Secondly, the BJP contested in just about 19 seats in the Kashmir Valley, of which we were a serious player in about 2 seats. So for us, if we haven't done well, it is not for any other reason. It is because the BJP did not pursue the Kashmir electorate with that kind of ferocity, and everybody else, given the background, participated in this election, whether it's the independents, whether it's Jamaat, whether it's Rashid Engineers Party, Altaf Bukhari or Sajjad Lone. Now come to the BJP's performance, which is predominantly in the Jammu region. We have won, or we are leading in 29 seats, which is better than our performance last time. What do you want from us? So
Okay,
naturally,
in Jammu, of course, there are more.
We should
we must. Your performance is better because there are. Sir, your performance is better, but there are also more seats now that there are in the valley. There were in Jammu, there were 37. It's now up to 43. So it's proportional. But the point is, therefore.
No, but let's get Supresh to respond to this charge.
Can I make a point, please?
No, 1 second.
37 saying 43,
Amit Malviya is making the charge
29.
that out 2 out of every 3 seats where Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra went, Supraji, Amit Malviya says the Congress is trailing in Haryana in 8 out of 12 assembly constituencies where Rahul Gandhi did his big Bharat Jodo Yatra. How do you respond to that?
No, I first want to respond to what was said on Jammu and Kashmir, and none of you had a counter question to this. The spokesperson of India's ruling party says we did not pursue the electorate in Kashmir. Why not? Are they not citizens of this country? You run away from Anantnag, Rajouri, Baramulla and Srinagar in Lok Sabha, and now the national spokesperson of the BJP comes here and says, we did not pursue the voters in Kashmir. Why did you not? The reality is that Jammu Kashmir was reduced for the first time since independence. A state was stripped off its statehood, reduced to a union territory. They have subjugated you, they have rejected you. I don't understand how else do you read this verdict. The fact that the ruling party comes and says we did not pursue voters in a certain section of this country. Why not? We pursue voters in every section of the country, whether we win or lose, because that's what political parties are meant to do. You can't say we don't pursue a certain electorate, but we pursue certain others. I think it's a very, very serious food for thought that has been said here. It's a very decisive and a very, very, rejection of the BJP. It's a very divisive thing to say, but I don't know. It didn't raise issues with any of you. The reality is that the BJP let loose people like Engineer Rashid, who weren't allowed to campaign for their own Lok Sabha elections, but were allowed to campaign for the Vidhan Sabha, and look where they ended up. So I do think that Jammu and Kashmir should also be discussed with as much fervor. Just because the BJP has been squarely rejected there, I don't think we can look the other way. But I do want to come back to Haryana.
Ma'am, just a minute. Ma'am,
I want my position.
Ma'am, would you accept?
And I maintain my position. These numbers will change.
You are saying the numbers will change, but will
my
you
position.
accept? Will you accept if these numbers hold? Will you accept that if these numbers hold, it's a major setback or not? Haryana specifically.
These numbers won't hold, so why will I make silly assumptions? I'm not here to make silly assumptions. These numbers will change. And all of that has been said will be now looked at in a very different context. Both from the BJP, from your panelists and fellow panelists.
What's your number,
I do believe these numbers will change. I'm absolutely confident about that.
What's your number? What's your number? What are your...
I think we'll be in a comfortable position to form the government. We will be in a comfortable position to form the government with majority. I can
Amit
tell you
Malviya, what impact do you think BJP winning Haryana will have on the assembly elections of Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Delhi and Bihar? Does this give your party extra confidence, a spring in your step as you hit the next big Maharashtra elections?
Look, Rahul, I am not going to be foolish like your other panelists and anchors who wrote our obituary during the exit poll. Let me just say it, every election is a different election. Every election is a new election. The BJP fights with all its resources. We have a great inroads in the society. We reach out to people. And of course, if you talk about sentiment, this will carry on to Maharashtra and Jharkhand, which we were anyway confident of doing very well and winning on our own merit. Delhi, Bihar is too far. I mean, you know, these are the kind of conversations urban Naxals have in their drawing rooms. Imagine revolutions which never go beyond university campuses and come on television and give these theories. Those days are over. You should realize and be humble that the BJP is not going anywhere. The BJP has demonstrated this in Haryana. And let me tell you, for the benefit of your viewers, these numbers won't change because the seats on which BJP is leading, the margin is massive. Whereas the seats where the Congress is leading, the margins are very wafer thin. So if at all these numbers change, the BJP's majority will increase, the Congress will further go down. And again, we need to ask ourselves how many seats did the Congress under Rahul Gandhi's leadership is leading or winning in Jammu and Kashmir, and it is in single digit.
Okay, Supriya Shrinit, do you concede that this verdict in Haryana changes the narrative or the mahal ahead of Maharashtra? Like Haryana, the Congress, if you speak to their leaders, whether it's in Mumbai or in Delhi, they make it seem as if it's a slam dunk. Maharashtra is ours. It's only a matter of time before the Mahayuti is voted out. Now that the BJP is won, do you think, would you accept publicly that Maharashtra then becomes much tougher than you would have thought till yesterday?
I want to say something on record and mark my words on this. In 2019 Haryana elections, Mr. Modi campaigned 18 rallies. This time he did only 4. I think the BJP will perhaps do a little better than we had expected. It's good to keep him out. I think that's the lesson that BJP wants to learn. People are quite tired of his jumlas. So I think that's one data that you might want to discuss. 18 versus 4. The BJP, I concede, will do a little better than we had expected. We were expecting them to really go down the drain on this one. But no, I do not think that Maharashtra or Jharkhand or Delhi is going to be what we are discussing. There is a wave of change. There is a certain issue. There are different issues in Maharashtra. It's an election which will be fought on issues that have impacted the people of Maharashtra. It will be fought on what the BJP and its two partners have done to Marathis. It will be done. It will
you change strategy though, ma'am?
On how infrastructure of infrastructure has collapsed in Maharashtra. Those issues will be very different.
But Supriya ji, will you change? You see, the strategy seemed to be for Haryana, put all your eggs in the Hooda basket. And that clearly, if these numbers hold, has not worked. Therefore, will you all change strategy? The BJP was accused of hubris in the Lok Sabha. 400 par didn't work. You all were accused of Andhi, tsunami, wave, words that I used this morning because that was seen to be the mahal. Will hubris that the Congress may be suffered from in Haryana also be a wake-up call for you for Maharashtra and Jharkhand? No state can be taken for granted. No voter can be taken for granted.
Actually, I disagree with you. I don't think the strategy was to put all eggs in one basket. Our final figures will be a lot better. We will form the government and our final figures will tell you that the Chhattis Biradari stood with us. So no, I don't buy into that assumption. But yes, every election is fought on different issues with a different strategy, with a different mindset in place, and which is what will happen in Maharashtra,
you don't agree to the
in Delhi,
point.
in Bihar and everywhere else where elections
you
are going
don't
to
agree
follow
that
up.
you took Haryana for granted, that you
No,
thought
I don't,
pollsters, pundits,
not.
everyone were going to get it right, and that's how you all went into Haryana. That's the mistake you made.
No election can ever be taken for granted. So I disagree with you. I absolutely disagree with you that we took it for granted. Elections are fought, elections are fought on issues. I still believe that the issues that we raised in Haryana are very, very relevant.
Okay. Now, Ms. Shrinit, you say we've
You're
been
talking over me. I can't hear you.
Ms. Shrinit, you say that we are still speaking of data which is coming in from round 4. On the election website right now, the EC website, it's round 10. And these are the figures which are holding in round 10, Supriya Shrinit. So that would mean that the BJP after round 10 is ahead. Because if you look at most constituencies, poll about 16 to 20 rounds where Haryana is concerned.
Exactly, you're saying 16 to 20 rounds have still to be counted. There are another 4-5 rounds to go.
No, ma'am. That means only 6
I will
more
say one thing, that the election result is not to... Let me just finish. Allow me to speak for more than 30 seconds on your show today. Thank you. I am very confident about... I will say one thing, that election results are not going the way we had expected. We had expected a thumping majority. We had expected that the BJP will be substantially reduced in numbers. That hasn't happened. I concede that. But will these results change from here on? 100% they will. I'm really certain about that.
Fact,
I do believe that our Karyakartas, I do believe our counting agents should stay on the tables and not desert.
We just heard from the Election Commission when this question was posed to them. Off record, they're saying that this is a completely false charge, that the numbers are being updated every 5 minutes and that there is no validity to the argument that the EC is somehow delaying the updating. It's saying it's an automatic process. There's nothing you can delay. Every 5 minutes, the numbers are being updated. It's happened in the past, Mr. Malviya, that when numbers haven't gone the way of the opposition party, this charge has been leveled of EVMs being delayed, the system being fixed, the administration being bought over, the government being the government putting agencies under pressure, etc. So it's not new. Do you think this reverses a trend that we've seen post the 4th of June, where the argument that was being made in TV studios and elsewhere was somehow that brand Modi, brand BJP is in decline, it's only a matter of time before the BJP gets voted out? Do you think Haryana very loudly answers that narrative and smashes it apart?
Well, Rahul, I think we should not waste too much of time on Congress party. They are a Rondu party. Every time they lose, they start looking at excuses from EVM to slow website, manipulation, blah, 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 blah. Let me give you some interesting statistics. In Haryana, this is a pro-incumbency vote for the BJP. 9 out of 13 sitting ministers are leading, and of the 41 seats BJP won in 2019, we are leading on 28. This was one of the points that your panelists and other anchors who want to see the BJP's dooms were projecting, saying कि BJP को तो एंटी इनकम्बेंसी समझ में नहीं आती है. भाई काम करोगे तो प्रो इनकम्बेंसी वोट मिलेगा, और वही मिल रहा है. तो आप लोग ये जो ख्वाब बनाते रहते हैं ना, योगेंद्र यादव एंड राजदीप सरदेसाई काइंड्स, जिनको बुला के आप प्रो इनकम्बेंसी, एंटी इनकम्बेंसी, ओबिचुरी ऑफ मोदी, बीजेपी लिखते रहते हो. राजदीप तो पिछले 23 सालों से ये ओबिचुरी लिख रहा है, लेकिन आज तक प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी पहले मुख्यमंत्री और अब प्रधानमंत्री बन गए और 10 साल हो गया है और 3rd मैंडेट में है. तो ऐसा है कि आप लोग पॉलिटिकल पंडितरी छोड़ दीजिए, जमीन पे जाइए, लोग क्या कह रहे हैं वो सुनिए. कांग्रेस की ह्यूब्रीज में आप आके कुछ भी चला देते हो. मैं सुन रहा था सुबह राजदीप
Just a minute, ma'am. Are you suffering from the same hubris? You see, in Lok Sabha you said 400 par, you got 240. Himachal Pradesh you lost, Karnataka you lost, which were anti-incumbency. No, just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am. You won't talk of Jammu and Kashmir because you've lost that. The point is, all political parties, will they be a little bit more humble as pundits and pollsters? Yes, I suggested or predicted that the Congress would win Haryana. I got it wrong. I'm open enough to admit it. Would you also be a little bit more humble, or you believe that every election, it's only the pundits and the pollsters who need to be targeted? Politicians are above it all.
अरे राजदीप, हम तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है, हम तो अपनी जीतने की बात कहेंगे. आप तो पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट और जर्नलिस्ट हो. आपके स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स में हमेशा कांग्रेस क्यों जीत रही होती है? कर्नाटका का जब इलेक्शन आया था, पीपल वाचिंग टेलीविजन विल टेल यू वर एक्साइटेड. अरे सुनो तो भाई बात.
No, you must also listen to me. You see, there's no point making your usual jibes. I want to understand from you. I want to understand from you what you believe works in an election and what doesn't. It didn't work in the Lok Sabha. Even in Haryana, it was 5-5. It's changed in the Vidhan Sabha. Let's have a serious talk rather than personal jibes.
चलो ठीक है, serious talk. वैसे it's difficult to have a serious conversation with you, but I will make an attempt. In the Lok Sabha election, Rahul Gandhi the Congress party and India Alliance went around lying that constitution badal denge, आरक्षण हटा देंगे, लोगों को जाके फर्जी फॉर्म भराए कि 8,500 रुपया देंगे, ये सब किया उन्होंने। बाद में काट की हांडी बार बार तो नहीं चढ़ती। राहुल गांधी ने फिर अमेरिका में जाके बोला हम आरक्षण हटा देंगे। भाई आप हिंदुस्तान में कुछ बोलते हो, अमेरिका में जाके अंग्रेजी में गिटर पिटर बोलते हो कि हम आरक्षण हटा देंगे, और आपको लगता है दलित समाज को पता नहीं चलेगा कि आप आरक्षण हटा दोगे। ये आपकी मंशा है। भूपेंद्र हुड्डा ने दलितों पे कितने अत्याचार किए, आपने कितनी डिबेट करी उस विषय को लेकर, मुझे बताइए। भाई आप चाहते हो कि कांग्रेस सत्ता में रहे, जनता नहीं चाहती कांग्रेस सत्ता पे रहे, ये पूरा विषय का मूल है।
Just as Rahul Gandhi didn't tell the full truth about Samvidhan Khatre mein hai. Sir, you're also being a little unfair. Rahul Gandhi never said I will remove reservations. He said then a day may come. We must be fair. You see, the problem is politicians tell half truths, which is the big problem at the moment. But yes, Supriya Shrinet, go ahead.
Listen.
No, let her respond now. Let her respond. She wants to respond to you. Go ahead.
Can I please come in?
उसी से बात करो, उसी से बात करते रहते हो। बीजेपी में तो कोई आपसे बात करता नहीं है, कांग्रेस वालों के व्हाट्सएप आते हैं, उसके आधार पे अब अपनी पॉलिटिक्स करते हो। करो
अरे let her speak. Let her speak.
हमसे क्यों बात करनी है भाई? आप हारने वाली पार्टी को इतना समय दोगे तो उन्हीं से बात करो ना।
Mr. Malviya, your party has just pulled off a remarkable victory. In Haryana, winning for the third time is something which hasn't happened so far. This is a massive pro-incumbency wave. Let's try and spend some time trying to understand what happened and why. Because what we're seeing changes India's political narrative.
Can
and
I
has,
come in to
no
speak,
matter
Rahul
who says, just 1 second, I'm just trying to ensure
Rahul
that we
Kamal,
keep
I was
this.
given a chance to speak.
Supriya Shrinet, I promise I'm coming to you. I'm just trying to lay the outline under which we hope this conversation can happen. Let's try and lift the quality of the conversation, not lower the bar. But go ahead and please make your point. Supriya Shrinet.
Go ahead, Supriya Shrinet.
Make your point.
You know exactly who lowers the bar each time, whether it's your conclaves or your debates. So don't take me there and don't give us this bipartisan gyan. You need to give gyan to one political party and you know who that political party is. The reality is that जीतने और हारने की बात हो रही है। जम्मू कश्मीर पे क्यों सांप सूंघ जा रहा है भाई? जम्मू कश्मीर की भी चर्चा कीजिए। जम्मू कश्मीर पे बीजेपी कुछ नहीं कहना चाहती है। आप कश्मीर में वोटर्स को परस्यू ही नहीं कर रहे हैं। आप वहां ना लोकसभा इलेक्शन लड़ने लायक है, ना आप वहां पे विधानसभा जीत रहे हैं। आपने एक राज्य को यूनियन टेरिटरी बना दिया, उसने आपको जमकर जवाब दिया है। आप बोलने लायक नहीं है। प्रोपोर्शनेटली सीट बढ़ाने के बावजूद आप लूज कर रहे हैं वहां पर। और मैं यहां पर 2-4 चीजें बोलना चाहती हूं। आपके आधे सच और पूरे झूठ का नतीजा भी देश ने देखा है। 400 पार का नारा दिया, 240 पर आकर अटक गए, बैसाखियों के सहारे। आपके लोगों ने संविधान बदलने की बात करी थी, चाहे वो आपकी सांसद हो, चाहे आपके मंत्री हो, वो लगातार संविधान बदलने की बात कर रहे थे। आप लोगों ने लैटरल एंट्री करी और उस पर यू टर्न लेना पड़ा क्योंकि उस पर आप आरक्षण को ताक पे रख रहे थे। आपने शिक्षण घोटाला किया यूपी में, जहां पर आप आरक्षण को खत्म करके ओबीसी को आपने आरक्षण नहीं दिया था। कोर्ट ने उस पर फिर अपना वक्तव्य सुनाया। संविधान का जब खतरा होगा, हम संविधान को बचाएंगे। और यह सच है कि संविधान को एक ही पार्टी से, एक ही लोगों से खतरा है, और वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी है, जो कि आरक्षण को दलितों, आदिवासियों और पिछड़ों के खिलाफ है। दलितों के बारे में झूठ फैलाने का सच तो ये है कि दलित क्यों हार रहे हैं भाई?
1 second. Supriya Shrinet, the Congress has made very grave charges where the Election Commission is concerned. Let's put out the real-time data that the Election Commission has been putting out. We're going to just play that out for our viewers because the Congress viewers has said that the EC is holding back real-time data where the seats are being updated as per the 4th or the 6th round. This is the charge that is made, Supriya Shrinet, by your own party, and that the current update in terms of the 11th or the 12th round show a very different picture. This is the charge made by the Congress. What we are going to do is, for our viewers who are joining us, we're going to put that data out, the real-time data of what the Election Commission is putting out when it comes down to Haryana. And right now, Supriya Shrinet, 10 rounds have been counted. 10 rounds have been counted. About 6 to 8 rounds are left in respective constituencies. And if you look at the data, which we will be putting out shortly, you will see that the EC is really not far behind from the numbers that are being projected right now.
So on different seats, it's different rounds of
Preeti
counting.
Chaudhary, I joined you at 11.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I joined this channel at 11:57. At 11:57, we were discussing, our discussion was bearing up the fourth or the fifth round. It is my duty as a panelist to come and say that our discussion needs to move away from those numbers, because those numbers are telling a different story. Every channel was making Vinesh Phogat lose. The reality was that she was winning by about 4,500 votes. She was leading by 4,500 votes. It's my job to say things as I see them. If 16 rounds of counting have happened and we are seeing only 10, we would like to see more. What is wrong in saying that?
Okay, Mr. Naik, let me now rephrase this.
What percentage and the seats that we are leading in vis-a-vis the BJP?
Fair point. Let me now rephrase. Let me now rephrase the question that I asked you. This is the data, we are putting it out there. This is the data that the Congress has challenged. And if you look at it right now, post round 10, it stands at 48 for the Bharatiya Janata Party and 36 for the INC. Now does the Congress admit that somewhere down the line, the trend is settling in? It's not going to really move too far from what is being projected.
No, I think I do think that the trend can change, and I'll tell you why. Because we've had a similar experience in Bihar. The election was called out at 12. The election was called, BJP celebrated prematurely, and then the trend completely reversed. So I do believe, let the last vote be counted, and the last vote counted will present a very different picture. I don't want to jump the gun, because what we are hearing from the ground, what we are hearing from our polling on our counting agents is a very different picture. I would like to believe that picture. I am willing to hold my horses before I give you a final verdict on this one.
Mr. Malviya, let's spend a moment on Jammu and Kashmir, because in Jammu and Kashmir, it's very clear that this experiment of independent, smaller parties, Apni Dal, People's Conference, the BJP's grand plan was that you do well in Jammu, which you have, and that there will be lots of independent, smaller parties with whom you'll be able to ally, which is how the NC and the Congress won't come to power. So while you lived up to your end of the bargain, the other end of the bargain, which was banking on independence, Apni Party, Engineer Rashid, the Jamaat candidate splitting the anti-NC vote, that hasn't happened. So do you concede that that didn't go as per script?
Rahul, I'll just make two quick points. First, that the BJP is leading on about 29-30 seats, which is more than what it won last time. Secondly, for the benefit of the Congress, not one Hindu MLA from the Congress is leading in the Jammu region. The only person, Raman Bhalla, who was leading, is now trailing. The Congress party is the new Muslim League in this country. I want to make that point very emphatically. Point number two, why do you keep saying that the strategy of Engineer Rashid, Jamaat, this, that and other is part of the BJP's strategy to fragment vote? I want to tell you something. Post abrogation of Article 370, we ensured that the Panchayat elections were conducted in Kashmir after several decades. That has thrown up a completely new leadership in the Kashmir Valley, and a lot of them who were otherwise separatists in their earlier avatars have today taken the route of participating in a democratic exercise. I think that is a big, big victory post 370 abrogation, and that was the purpose of removing 370, so that more and more people in the Kashmir Valley can be mainstreamed and aligned, including those who were otherwise separatists in their worldview. I think the single biggest achievement of the BJP in the Jammu and Kashmir election is making the polity in Kashmir far more democratic. I take pride in that fact, and please stop saying that the independents and the smaller parties were part of the BJP strategy, because it is to their credit that they chose to go through the democratic path and not stay away from it as they had been in the last 3 decades. That
Well, I must just
Is
say
statehood assured now? Is statehood assured, Amit Malviya? Because if there is no BJP government, if BJP is not there in government in Jammu and Kashmir,
Can I make a
will
point,
the government
please?
still, no ma'am, just a minute. Will the government still live up, Modi government live up to its commitment that statehood will be restored after the elections?
राजदीप, जब प्रधानमंत्री जी ने, गृह मंत्री जी ने पार्लियामेंट में एक बयान दे दिया है, तो उसके बाद मेरा उस पे कोई टिप्पणी करना उचित है क्या? सवाल पूछने से पहले सोचा तो करो क्या पूछ रहे हो?
No. So you're saying, you're giving a guarantee that you're giving a guarantee that statehood will now be restored. Am I correct?
I mean, you are a journalist of so many years. सवाल तो ठीक पूछो। ये टेलीविजन डिबेट का सवाल है क्या?
Of
ये
course it is.
पार्लियामेंट का जवाब
No,
देना
of
चाहिए और
course it is.
प्रधानमंत्री
It's a
ने
very
जवाब देना
important
चाहिए।
question. It was a
कुछ भी
vital
पूछते रहते
question in
हो।
the campaign.
Can I come in?
Is statehood going to be restored? Give me a straight answer.
Again, listen, you first wait for the government formation in J&K. And after that, you will hear it from the leadership. What is the
Okay.
problem? Why are you in such a hurry?
Okay.
आपको पसंद
Hasim
नहीं है कि
Drabu,
वहाँ पे
is that good
पत्थरबाजी
enough for
कम हो
you?
गई है, आपको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है
Hasim
कि
Drabu,
स्कूल
is that
जाने
a good
लग गए
enough
हैं,
answer?
आपको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है कि
want to engage with Mr. Malvi. I want to make
आपको
2
अच्छा
points.
नहीं लग रहा है कि वहाँ पे अमन है।
One big strategy. You see,
Okay.
first of all, let's see, it's not a defeat of BJP. BJP has done well in Jammu and Kashmir. The big thing is that the efforts to convert a demographic majority into a political minority has failed. Let's understand that, because that was the whole game plan. That you have this demographic majority of Muslims, you want to convert them into a political minority. That clearly is what has led to this vote pelting in the valley one-sided. Nobody thought INC would do 52. And consider the fact...
Actually, Engineer Rashid, to be fair to him, told me the other day that they'll get 50.
Now, in addition to this, there are a few independents. I can think of Shopian, for instance, which is an NC rebel who's kind of going to come back. So this will even go further. So BJP has protected its turf and in the process put the state onto a road which is going to be very, very difficult. Because this, as I said in the beginning, this is the beginning of the bifurcation thing debate that will happen. Because what is it that will bind Jammu and Kashmir today now? Earlier it was about
Maybe a deputy chief minister from Jammu and a chief...
You know, that's now been done in 2014, that's always been there. Even in when Mufti Saab formed the government, even prior to that, Congress, there was a deputy CM from Jammu. That's not going to... what is going to connect the civil society of Kashmir with the civil society of Jammu? Because at the end of the day, that's the key point. Plus, when you look at it from that perspective, the abrogation of 370, is this a referendum on 370 then? Is the BJP willing now to take the position that this
Let's
is a
ask
referendum?
Mr. Malviya that
That's
question.
what can we ask.
Mr. Malviya, Hasim Drabu asks whether you see this as a referendum on Article 370. 52 for the NC Congress, 27 for the BJP. Can this politically be seen as a referendum on Article 370?
Of course, it is not a referendum on Article 370, and I think we should stop going down that path. Article 370 has now been consigned to history. It will never come back. Kashmir will move on the path of development. Please, let's understand the context of Jammu and Kashmir, the demography of Kashmir in particular, the history of the last 3 decades in particular, and the unrest that has been there even before that. It's a different territory, and so we will all be advised to exercise restraint and caution. We have to understand that we are trying to bring Kashmir out of a very tumultuous phase. Last 5 years have been extremely peaceful. They have been focused on development, and comment on it responsibly.
So, I think it's very clear, Rahul, when I look at the numbers, Hasim, I think it's a big day for the NC Congress, particularly for the NC. Remember in 2014, the NC almost got wiped out. Omar Abdullah lost the last election, 2020 for Lok Sabha. So it's a big day for the NC in particular, not so much for the Congress, but the NC. I think we have to acknowledge that. It's a big day for the BJP in Haryana. I think the 2 big winners today are the National Conference in Kashmir and the BJP in Haryana. I think the big loser, to my mind, is the Congress party.
Can I make a point,
because,
please?
Ma'am, you can, but allow me to also say a little bit. I think, would you agree with my submission that NC is the big winner in Jammu and Kashmir, BJP is the big winner in Haryana, and the Congress is the big loser? Yeah, you get the rebuttal to that. You don't agree with me?
Fair. Yeah. First, allow me a rebuttal because you should have ideally come to me before giving your 2 bits of political yarn. See the reality of what the BJP does.
I get hit by both sides.
When they lose J&K, the election is reduced to Hindu and Muslim. Just see how it happens. When they lose J&K, the election is reduced to Hindu and Muslim. But because इन्होंने Muslim League की बात कर ली, तो मैं इतिहास याद दिला देती हूँ. आपकी सरकार थी जब भारत छोड़ो आंदोलन महात्मा गांधी चला रहे थे. आप मुस्लिम लीग के साथ नॉर्थ वेस्ट फ्रंटियर प्रोविंस, सिंध और बंगाल में मिलकर सरकार चला रहे थे. और उस आंदोलन का दमन करने के तरीके चिट्ठी लिखकर बता रहे थे। आपके लोग जाकर जिन्ना की मजार पे सर झुका रहे थे पाकिस्तान पे। तो मुस्लिम लीग पर मेरा मुंह मत खुलवाइएगा, कौन इस देश की मुस्लिम लीग है। यहां पर बोला गया tumultuous phase, we are out of it. You know, you can use all those fancy words, but the reality is in the last 110 days, there have been 26 terror attacks in the valley. 21 of our brave hearts have died. You don't have an answer for that. The real binary is that you let people like Rashid Engineer come out and campaign for other elections. उनको अपने इलेक्शन में आने की परमिशन नहीं थी. The reality also is, इतना पीस आपने वैली में और हर जगह कर दिया, तो अनंतनाग, राजौरी, बारामूला और श्रीनगर से चुनाव लड़ने से भाग क्यों गए थे? आपकी चित और आपकी पट नहीं हो सकती ना। अगर आप जम्मू कश्मीर हार रहे हैं तो आप हिंदू मुसलमान नहीं कर सकते हैं, और अगर आप कहीं बीच जीतेंगे तो आप डेवलपमेंट की बात करने लगिए। मेरा अपना मानना है, इलेक्शंस कॉजेस पे लड़े जाते हैं। हमने अपने घटक दल के साथ लड़ा, हमारे घटक दल वो चुनाव जीत रहा है और बीजेपी वो चुनाव हार रही है। दैट्स द बाइनरी फॉर मी। द बाइनरी फॉर मी इज दैट द बीजेपी हैज फेल्ड India's northernmost state and failed them substantially, and which is why they have been decisively rejected. I use the word rejected with a lot of responsibility.
No, ma'am, you make a strong point there. It would have helped if it would have helped if you would show the same willingness to accept that somewhere your Haryana strategy went wrong. You know, that would be also an acceptance, because y'all are holding on to this belief that EC is slowing down the numbers. If anything, the numbers, you told us, if anything, the numbers are now getting consolidated. Actually, even in vote share now, y'all are both level, 41% each. So the BJP is actually even gone up in vote share.
So I do believe that Haryana hasn't turned out the way we would want to, but do I believe this is what the final tally will be? No. I have conceded first that Haryana should have been a lot better for us. I mean, what do you want me to say? But I am not going to turn a blind eye and pretend Jammu Kashmir results are not coming just because the BJP is losing there.
Let's spend a moment looking at what can change in Haryana beyond where we are. So in Haryana, there are only 3 seats where the margin is less than 500 votes. The Congress leads on 2 of those. The BJP leads on 1. At this moment, in Haryana, there are only 6 seats where the margin is less than 1,000 votes. Congress leads on 4. BJP leads on 1. So if at all, if there are such 6 seats, there could be 3-3. So it could be 52 for the BJP potentially. That's where the BJP can go to, and Congress can potentially go up to 40. So the chances of Haryana now turning, you know, I know there are lots, many in the Congress who seem to believe that the election may turn. That now looks impossible. Very, very difficult. Statistically, it is very difficult to achieve. There can be one odd minor change, but this election cannot now turn. Supriya Shrineth, this happened in Chhattisgarh as well. The Congress was so convinced in its own bubble before counting day that you were winning Chhattisgarh. There is a trend here. In a direct Congress versus BJP assembly election, again in Raipur, you were convinced you were winning till finally you were not, which is why it caught you so much by surprise and you weren't able to come to terms with the verdict the people of Chhattisgarh had delivered. The same seems to have happened in Haryana.
And if I may add to what you said, Rahul, in Karnataka, where they bested the Congress, the point we made earlier, Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar worked together. Here, there was no concept of collective leadership. Do you concede, Supriya Shrineth, therefore Congress has made mistakes in Haryana? Overconfidence and factional fights.
No, I disagree with both of those assumptions, and I'll tell you why. When you give me, when you lay out your political points on Haryana, I would lay out the similar points in Himachal, in Karnataka and in Telangana. Karnataka and Himachal, we were face to face with the BJP. We were face to face with the B team of the BJP and BRS, and see how 20% vote share rise happened and we formed the government. So no, I disagree with all of those. Does every election teach us a lesson? Of course. Does every election give us an opportunity to improve? Of course it does. Have we learnt our lessons from Haryana? If these numbers stay and even if our tally improves from here on? Yes, of course. I mean, every political party must learn. I am not so drunk on my own coolant like the BJP is that they have nothing to learn and they have sealed the deal everywhere and they have no lessons to learn from Jammu and Kashmir. Unlike them, I do believe, yes, we have a lesson to learn. But I also would say that the elections are fought till the last vote is counted. And for me, this election is not over yet. Just like the election was not over for the BJP in Karnataka and in Himachal till the last vote was counted and till our Chief Minister was sworn in. It's quite as simple as that.
You know, in a way, I think, would you all agree that the Congress and the big difference between Congress and BJP, we heard it, is micromanagement. the BJP was 5-5 with the Congress in Haryana, 44 to 42 in terms of assembly segments. The BJP went back to the drawing board seemingly, focused seat by seat, got the likes of Dharmendra Pradhan deeply involved in the campaign. The Congress had Deepak Babaria, but eventually Ajay Makan and Bhupinder Singh Hooda had their way in seat selection. They seemed to believe it was a done deal. They got carried away by pundits and pollsters. Is that the big difference, you think, between BJP and Congress as party organizations? That organizationally, the BJP is still way ahead of the Congress. Would you agree? I mean, across any of you, is there no comparison in organizational terms?
See, I think in spite of this absolutely thumping win for the BJP, there are still learnings around communication, improving it, narrative, etc.
For the BJP?
For the BJP, 100%. In spite of this win, there were a lot of ground planning that was done, but on the top, that the narrative that they could very well control and not let it slip away into the Congress, they could have still worked on that and they can still improve that. There is always area to work on. But I think what has happened is this very, very quiet reverse polarization, which is clear from the data. The Twitter comments are like, "Jaat ne dhoka de diya Bhupinder Hooda ko." The Jaat of the Jats, they did not come in and support Bhupinder Hooda the way he would have expected them to. And look at all the other Paintis Biradaris, perhaps they thought that this, once the Jat domination happens, that sense of fear that comes in, slowly and gradually it was polarizing. It was not something which was over the top, which could be captured by your pollsters. It couldn't be captured, but I think the underbelly of Haryana has remained intact and therefore remains intact for the next 5 years as well. 15 years of one rule. This has become a bastion for BJP now. Which other state can claim it to be?
With the exception that, as Lok Sabha showed, it is still a competitive state compared to, let's say, a Madhya Pradesh or a Gujarat, which are completely BJP fortresses. I come back to it. Is the BJP's organization where they score, particularly in competitive local elections? They localized Haryana. They made it a local fight, seat by seat fight.
See, I think it's about doing a proper SWOT analysis. They did acknowledge the fact that they were on the back foot after the Lok Sabha results. And then they have taken amends, solutions to make up for that. They were losing on the media narrative, but what is also happening is that the disadvantaged sections of the society are not voluble, do not come out and express their opinion to pollsters or journalists whenever we are going on the ground or pollsters are going on the ground. And we tend to get carried away by the sentiment of the dominant community. That's number one. Number two, there is always a discontent against the dominant community or the anger. This Jat Dalit Muslim combination was always a brittle combination because there is a history of violence between Jats and Dalits. So this is and micromanagement. They did it behind the doors. They were not saying that we are going to win this election, and this is how micromanagement.
Even Guru Ram Rahim, bring him out if he can bring you Gurmeet Ram Rahim, if he can bring you those 5,000-10,000 additional votes.
I'll just add to what Amitabh was saying. I think perhaps the party understood what it needs to do. But Haryana is going to signal something very interesting for the BJP. Till today morning, everyone basically said PM Modi wasn't campaigning in Haryana, and perhaps BJP knew that they might be losing, and so it was just to sort of like ward off PM Modi. Now, Haryana victory shows that if BJP's central leadership wasn't involved and still they can manage to win elections, this is going to be a new phase of BJP politics where state units can sort of like pull victories on their own with support of central leadership.
No, but Amit Shah was very deeply involved in the micromanagement of the campaign, taking stock every day about what's happening.
Rahul, I'm basically, the point I'm making, a lot of BJP victories were basically just given to Modi magic alone or Modi factor alone. Now this is not to say that Modi magic is not there. This is saying that with that limitation, that was also a limiting factor, there is now something new that the state unit, after 2 terms of anti-incumbency, can turn around and win an election.
The machine can make you win.
Yes.
I think that's the big difference. What is this machine at the end? We use the word machine very loosely. Machine means what? It means local level coalitions. It means the ability to choose candidates based purely on their merit, not because Sifarish comes in from Delhi. One person who will be smiling today, who we haven't mentioned at all, and who we were critical is Manohar Lal Khattar. Because Manohar Lal Khattar was, the general belief is a lot of the candidates were chosen by him. Even Nayab Saini was his choice.
The meeting is happening as Dharmendra Pradhan, Biplab, they have all gone to his house.
So Manohar Lal Khattar,
So his primacy is maintained.
look at it. Till about a day two ago, we were sort of holding him responsible for everything that had gone wrong in Haryana. Today, he can well claim he got the seat distribution right, got his caste arithmetic right. But machine Rahul means a mix of resources. It means putting the resources in the right place. It means putting the right people in the right place. Now, this is where I think... This is where the Congress, I don't think, can match the BJP still at local level. It needed a wave. We thought there was a wave. That's why the Congress was winning as a default option. But when it becomes competitive, we're seeing the BJP still sticks
also
ahead.
keep in mind that the scheme of women...
The counting is stuck and that EC is not uploading its data. I want to go across to Preeti Chaudhary, who's on a big plasma screen. She'll show you the EC website, which gives us a sense of how many rounds of counting have actually been updated on the Election Commission website. Preeti, take it away.
Rahul, so, the charge by the Congress is that the EC is not updating real-time data. Now, I've gone through a number of seats, and what it looks like is for certain seats, you're already in round 10 or even to round 12. But on certain seats, it is a little sluggish where you're still reporting round 6 or round 7. Let's just randomly pick a few seats and take a look as to where the EC stands in terms of rounds and numbers. In Haryana, the constituencies are small comparatively to bigger states, where a difference of 500,000 votes is huge. To give our viewers perspective, 2019, the Congress lost from the BJP by the virtue of just less than 5,000 votes. So each constituency, even a marginal shift of votes will matter. So let's take a look. Let's just go right on top. Adampur, that is Bhavya Bishnoi's constituency. He's on a BJP ticket, and right now the data that has been uploaded, 7 rounds have been uploaded. There are 13 rounds that are going to take place on this particular constituency. Each round in Haryana, constituency by constituency, has about 5 to 15,000 votes. 7 rounds data has been updated, and on those 7 rounds, Bhavya Bishnoi is leading with 37,234 votes. However, the closest competitor from the Congress, Chandra Prakash, is trailing by just about 4,000 votes. However, there are still nearly double the rounds left where the constituency of Adampur is concerned. Let's quickly cut across, turn around and go to a different constituency. Randomly picking, let's pick Ateli. Ateli is where Rao Indrajit's daughter, Aditi Rao, is standing, and there are 18 rounds, Rahul, and our viewers there. 18 rounds that are going to take place on the counting of this constituency. Just about 8 rounds have happened. Right now, from the BSP is leading Atar Lal from 28,544 votes is on which he's leading. Of course, the BSP is in alliance with the INLD. Trailing is Aarti Singh Rao, Rao Indrajit's daughter, by a margin of 4,000 votes. However, there are still 10 rounds left. That means more than double the vote that has already been counted is yet to be counted. Let's quickly, turn around, go to another constituency and take a quick look. Let's move to the other constituency right now. All right, let's quickly cut across and let me look at Bahadurgarh, because this was an area where the Hoodas really tried to consolidate. They were hoping to get 1 or 2 seats, but an independent is leading on this seat. So out of 17 rounds is supposed to be counted on this particular constituency. 17 rounds, just 8 have been counted. After 8 of 17 rounds, an independent is leading with 33,110 votes. The Congress candidate, of course, this is a huge drop, and it will look that the INC, despite even if the next 8 rounds are calculated, will lose, because the INC, the Congress is trailing from over 17,000 votes. But just to give you a picture, out of 17 rounds, just 8 have been counted. Let's quickly turn around and get you another constituency there. Let's see and move into the Jat belt that we are talking about. Let me look at Julana. Vinesh Fogart's seat is what the Congress has been talking of. This is a seat which has been updated the maximum right now. Possibly pressure, or whichever way we look at it, 15 rounds will be counted, and now it's in its final breath. 13 rounds have been counted after 15 rounds. Vinesh Fogart is leading with 57,998 votes. Trailing is Bharatiya Janata Party's Yogesh Kumar. by 5,230 votes. So this might be stabilizing where Vinesh's seat is concerned. 2 rounds just left to be counted, but more or less, let's quickly cut across back and our viewers can get a sense. And let's randomly pick, because, you know, a seat, let's try and pick Bhavani Kheda. It's a reserved seat where the Dalit vote really matters. And Pradeep Narwal, blue-eyed boy of the Gandhis from there, trailing by 3,963 votes on the BJP is leading here. 17 rounds are left on this particular seat. 11 rounds have been counted. There are still six rounds left, and the Congress candidate is trailing by about a little less than 4,000 votes. So, you know, I was talking to somebody, they are saying they have hope that once the other rounds get counted, Pradeep Narwal could come out. Let's randomly pick again. You know, I'm trying to steer clear of the big ticket seats to get our viewers an understanding the charge that the Congress seems to be making. But let's look at Gannor. Now the seat of Gannor, 16 rounds are to take place on this seat. 10 have been counted, 6 are still left. Leading right now is independent Devendra Kadian. Trailing by 22,000 votes is Kuldeep Sharma. So even though the next 6 rounds will be counted, it doesn't seem it's going to really change much. Let's get you a last final look at another seat, because what we are seeming to understand right now. Let's look at Tosham. There you have it.
According to the Congress, Preeti, if you can check.
Yeah, let's look at this. 17 rounds are to be counted because this is a big ticket seat for both BJP and Congress. 17 rounds have been are to be counted. 10 have been counted till now. Shruti Chaudhary leading with 48,000.